I'm Joni de Winter.
And I am Susan Grant.
And we are part of Bell Street,
who are an events band and production company.
And we're here to talk about our fun and failures.
From our journey from being scared to doing it anyway.
And today we bring to you a very exciting guest in the form of Claudia from Deadly is the Female, which is a vintage-inspired shop in Frome. But it's not just a shop. As you'll hear, it's a community, it's a place of creativity and a place of encouragement.
We really hope that you enjoy this. We have had so much fun talking to Claudia. We are here today with the wonderful Claudia Gillow, who is the owner of the fabulous shop in Frome, Deadly is the Female.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on and talking to us.
I'm very excited and nervous.
Well, we're very excited to be in your kitchen.
Yeah, sorry.
I feel like you're a celebrity, so I like being allowed in your kitchen. I'm a bit like starstruck.
This is as tiny as it gets. So
okay.
Yeah, I did my best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess we start with, why don't you tell anyone who's not heard of Deadly is the Female what it is?
So Deadly is the Female is a clothes shop. Predominantly, we specialise in vintage style fashion, but it's also kind of more than that. I feel now it's kind of a community of women who all encourage each other, who are excited to dress up for themselves and express themselves through clothes, and that's really special to me. So yeah, I'm very lucky. I love my job a lot.
Yeah. It definitely is that, because you've got a really strong kind of online presence, haven't you? And
yes.
You're very engaging with your, followers.
Yes,
sounds like
we're
it
really
makes you sound like a
nosy.
religion.
Yeah. Yes, the cult of Deadly is coming. Yeah, I'm nosy partly, and social media is amazing for chatting to people and kind of building that sense of community, and that's something that I didn't really set out to do, but because it's a really, really small team, we get bored of each other. So it's nice to be able to chat to other people and take on feedback and encourage each other. So people that shop at Deadly or who follow Deadly online have really inspired me so much more than they know, and I think that works hopefully always round. So yeah, it's really lovely.
And how long have you had the shop in Frome?
16 years.
Yes, it's nearly your birthday,
It is, yes. Yeah, it's 16 years, which is completely insane to me because I kind of opened Deadly on a bit of a whim and I had no idea what I was doing. I used to always say I still don't, but I do. But I think that's that thing that we all do where we go, oh no, I couldn't possibly know. I couldn't possibly be a businesswoman. But 16 years is a big deal.
So if you started on a whim,
Yeah.
what was the trigger for the whim?
So I was working in London. I was designing for a small alternative brand that I'd been working for I think 7 or 8 years at that time. And I started off doing work experience for them and worked my way through. They couldn't get rid of me, basically. So I did a little bit of everything. I would go to their trade shows. I set up their MySpace page, showing my age, and helped open some of their shops. I literally did the interior design. I would shoot their catalogues. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. And that was amazing. It was a great grounding. But I think I kind of felt like I was done there. My family is from Bath, so I wanted to be back this way a little bit more. And my mum said, come to Frome, I think you'll really love it. There's all these amazing independent shops, which there was and there still is. I started off at the bottom of the hill and I was just like, this is amazing. And out of nowhere, I just had this thought of, I want this. I want a shop here. And we walked all the way up the cobbles and got to the top and there was an empty building, an empty shop.
Wow.
With a to let sign in it. And I was like, well, I'll just find out. I have no idea how much it is to rent a shop. And it turned out I had a flat on the back of it because I was living in Watford at the time, so quite far away. So I just kind of thought, screw it. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We do a lot.
Just checking. I mean, yes, so I just thought, fuck it. Like, why not? Let's give it a go. So that was the August bank holiday and I was open by the November.
And moved down here?
Moved down here. Moved out of the house in Watford. Ended up living in my parents' house for a couple of weeks with all my stuff. And then moved into the flat in the back. And yeah, that was 16 years ago, which is crazy.
And what did you start off with?
So I had a really small collection. When I first opened, people would occasionally come in, as you would hope, with a shop. Actually, my first customer, I nearly forgot to charge them money because I was so flustered. And she was stood in front of the counter and I gave her her bag and her dress and she stood and looked at me and I looked at her and I was like, thank you. Oh, I need to charge you some money for the dress. She was like, yes, please. But people would come in and they'd say, do you have anything that's not red or black? And I'd be like, leopard print. And that was it. That was pretty much all I had. That was kind of my core colours. At the time, vintage was kind of the end of the recession, so vintage was around, people were aware of it, it was kind of a fashion choice, but it tended to be more of like your kind of cutesy vintage, like quite pretty, and I was like, I love that, but I want to go down more of a kind of Hollywood glamour, femme fatale thing. So we named the shop Deadly is the Female after a film, which is a film with a femme fatale character. So that was kind of the angle I wanted to take.
How did it develop then? Because obviously there was just you. Is that right? At the beginning, just you?
Just me. My mum was my Saturday girl.
Yeah, your red, your black and your leopard print.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what my wardrobe looks like,
Yes.
but with some green.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to, branch out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of green. A bit of gold. Did you set yourself a business plan? Did you just set goals? How did you kind of look at the future? Or were you like a day at a time kind of person?
When I wanted to open a business bank account, you had to write a business plan, and I took it very seriously, which I think was probably a good thing, but equally I was just pulling numbers out of my arse, to be really honest. Like, they're like, how much do you think you're going to take in the first year? I don't know, I've never had a shop before. Like, it's a new town, I have no idea. So I guesstimated a lot. I actually never went back to check to see how I did, but yeah, so I had like a plan. And I always knew that I wanted the shop, but I wanted a website running alongside it right from the beginning, right from the get-go. That felt really important. And then, I winged it.
Was that normal at the time? Because I'm trying to think, 16 years ago is like what? In my head, that's 1995. But it wasn't, was it?
It was 2008.
Right.
My maths is correct.
Okay. And was it not quite normal to like do online shop? Because now it's so normal. It's kind of how businesses survive, isn't it?
I think it was for bigger brands. For smaller, like one-off boutiques, I don't think so much. I don't think there have been times where people have had no idea that it was literally just me or just me and one or two other people. So, I mean, the most I've ever had is 2 part-time staff members, which has been amazing. And I'm really lucky that I can work it that way. But so I think it was usual-ish.
I remember my first visit to your shop.
Do you?
I do. And I was trying to remember what year I thought it might have been. And I think it might have been 2016 or 2015, I reckon. And I'd never seen anything like it before. I was with a friend and we were doing like a canvas of Frome. We were trying to get adverts for a magazine we were working for, and
I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we came and we were just going in and talking to all the businesses, because obviously Frome's a really exciting place in terms of like people who are doing interesting independent things, and we kind of stumbled across your shop and just kind of fell in love with everything in it, and it came up as my memories on my Facebook.
No way.
Last week it was oh my god, this shop's amazing, look at this outfit. And I did get that outfit.
Was it green velvet?
No, it was black and red.
Sorry, silly question.
It was like a black pencil. Susan was asking this earlier. It was a black pencil skirt with like
the Doris shirt.
Yes,
that was
and a red
great.
belt.
Yes.
And Vivienne Westwood shoes with wings on the back.
Amazing.
Yes, so good.
Oh,
and
those shoes
I lost one
smelled
of those
like
shoes, so they did smell like bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I lost one of those shoes, which made me very sad.
You lost?
Yeah, I went on a mission to find the other. I even put it in the online group you've got. Has anyone, by any chance, got the left one of these shoes? Because I've never seen shoes like them before.
No.
So anyway, that was such a lovely experience. One of the things that you've mentioned, but it would be great to talk about a bit more, is how you make people feel when you come into the shop. Whenever I've come into the shop, I always just leave feeling really great. And I think the whole experience
is kind of a little bit like therapy. Whether you buy anything or not, it's that kind of a dopamine dressing, they call it now, don't they?
I love that. I haven't heard that.
Have you not?
No.
It's dressing for dopamine and getting that like kind of, I don't know how to scientifically explain it.
No, but it sounds good.
Anyway, they've put a label on it, but you've been doing it for a long time.
You can put a label in the window.
Yes, there we go.
Get your dopamine hit here.
Yes.
But you do, because you walk in, you feel really welcome. There's all these fabulous things to try on that it's not like walking into a high street shop or even just, you know, a regular independent shop, because it's just completely over the top fabulous, like the textures, the colours, everything. It's just really out there and like it feels like a treat.
Yay! That's really lovely, because it wasn't really something I set out to do, but I always really hated going into shops where people just ignore you, and I noticed it a lot when I first opened the shop, and it's just nice to walk into a shop and have somebody say hello. I also hate having somebody on my shoulder like trying to sell me things. Not interested in that. So we've always tried to have a bit of a balance, make sure that you're present when there's people in the shop. We all I say all, it's just Scarlett and I, or Sarah and I, she's both. We both kind of feel like it's important to be present, say hello. Again, like it's just the two of us, so often we are packing orders for the website or, you know, updating things. Sometimes we're shooting content in the shop, which can be really embarrassing when people come in. So that's nice though, because I think it gives people a feel of the whole thing, and that we are humans and we're real people, and we're really lucky with that in general, because online you never know what you're gonna kind of get. People can be a bit more abrasive, but yes, in the shop the whole kind of feel is really friendly, and that's nice. It's nice for us to see people and have a chat and that kind of side of things too. But we do know that we're different from other shops. It's not like walking into a high street shop, so people do need a little bit more help maybe, and we're always really happy to be a little bit bossy, love being bossy, and encourage people to try things they might not naturally go to just because they're not used to having clothes that fit higher up on the waist or are more fitted or look better with a petticoat. So that's really like a big part of the in-store shopping process. And so it felt quite natural to then push that out into online, because it's such a big part of who we are, that's kind of the approach we've tried to take online, is to welcome people in and celebrate them for who they are, and encourage them to feel good, to be kind to themselves, because it's not always easy, and to try things and just have fun with it. And if you try things and it looks awful, at least you've learned what you don't like, and that's valuable too. So yeah, that's kind of been our stance on it, I think.
And it is nice to be able to come in and try.
It's really nice.
Again,
Yeah.
for the textures, for the colours.
Yeah, stretching things.
Yeah, kind of from being somebody who hates trying on clothes in a shop. Just, I can't deal with the faff of a high street shop.
Yeah.
To be able to come in and have time to just look
Yes.
and take it all in and go, oh, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, we do really encourage people to, if they can, spend a bit of time and because they are different. So, and we always get people coming in, they put like a little wiggle dress on and they come shuffling out of the changing room, and you're like, it looks lovely, and they're like, yeah, I didn't take my jeans off, and we're like you're gonna need, so then they put them around their ankles. Actually, I was trying to on the other day and I did it, and Sarah was like, Claudia. Sorry, I get it now. Especially in the winter, I had boots on, I was like, oh, it's a whole thing.
And you still have the inspiration to design and create?
Yes, so I stopped designing for a long time when I opened the shop, and it was kind of in my 5-year plan, my very loose 5-year plan was to get back to it. I didn't, and I was really intimidated by it for the longest time. Actually, I was quite scared of putting that out there. What we were doing was kind of working. It was also a time thing. I got married and divorced like a lot, so I was busy with things. Life was going on, so I just kind of put it off. And then I think it was for our 13th birthday, I was like, enough is enough. This is what I want to do. I just need to do it. And I know it's something that you talk about a lot, is doing things that scare you and pushing through it. And it has been amazing. And I've had so much support from it. We have been working with Alexandra King, who makes a range of dresses for us for a long time. She was so helpful with patterns and her knowledge of the actual technical side of things and helping me create what was in my head and on paper into a 3D form. And then she introduced us to her friend Anna Vickery, who is also based in Somerset, and she hand sews everything for us. So it's a really small little team. And I launched one dress, the noir dress, then, and that's now branched out into like a little mini collection, which I'm super proud of.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So you've done all that in 3 years.
Yeah.
What do you think gave you the courage to finally go, right, now I am gonna design something? What do you think the thought process was, or did you just kind of wake up and feel it?
I think I got sick of my own bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's like a real thing, isn't it? You
Yeah.
tell yourself these stories all the time, and my inner story was, no, like it's scary, maybe you're not good enough, maybe people won't like it, maybe people won't buy it, it's too hard, it's gonna be too expensive. And I was just listing all of these reasons why I couldn't do it, and had encouragement from customers, from Scarlett, from Alexandra, and I just thought, do you know what, everybody's telling me to give it a go, fuck it. So
Excellent.
yeah,
That is their ethos.
yes, and I think you do have to get to a point of discomfort where you do just get sick of your own nonsense and
Yeah.
just go for it with life sometimes. And I still was able to do it in like a bite-sized way, and that's really like, it's one foot in front of the other, isn't it? Just yeah.
Yeah, I guess because it's kind of enveloped in the brand that you've already created of Deadly.
Yes.
It's like a slice of the pie sort of
Yes.
thing. Do you see the pie slice getting bigger?
It's changed loads actually. When we first opened, I imported everything, mostly from America. They were brands that I loved that you just couldn't really get over here. And I was buying them for myself and bringing them over, and I was like, I love these so much, I think other people will love them too. And that was our core for a really long time. We branched out into other brands in Europe and England, and that was really good. But then, so when we'd started, these places didn't have their own websites. They just sold business to business, but it became more normal for them to have websites and sell direct. So if they're selling dresses to me for a wholesale price that I then sell on, they're making a smaller amount than if they're selling direct to customers, they're making the full amount. So of course that makes sense for them to do that, and the internet made that possible. They were less and less interested in selling wholesale. It was something that was kind of just a trend that happened. And I really was not sure what I was going to do about it. I was always looking for new things, like up and coming brands, and we have been at the beginning of some really amazing brands, and that's been amazing. But the business models have changed. So that was kind of outside of my control. And as is often the way when we're really, really lucky, that's when Alexandra walked into the shop and said, I would like to work with you guys. And I said, no thanks.
Did you?
And she said, well, let's just meet. And I was like, because she's like, maybe we could, come to an agreement. We can like try and find a way to work together. And I was like, okay, look, come in. I'm such a dick. Come in and we can have a chat, but I just want to say it's unlikely. In my defence, this was because we had just had a similar agreement with somebody else, and it was just a disaster. We didn't sell anything. And so in my defence, I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to disappoint anybody again. I don't want to like look bad. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. So I was a bit reluctant. Alexandra came to the shop. We sat in the back room and had a cup of tea, and she showed me her drawings, and I was like, oh, okay. Okay, we can like maybe just look at this a little bit. And then she came back and brought a really small selection of dresses, and it was amazing because it was a real conversation. She was really interested in Deadly and bringing out who we were, as well as putting her own spin on it. And she went away and watched loads of film noir films, and she's such an amazing creative person. She's so talented. And she came back with, I think we settled on 4 dresses, and one of them was the Claudia dress, which wasn't called the Claudia dress at the time, but she brought it in. This is actually, I'm wearing the original sample.
It's beautiful.
I love it so much. And it's a one size fits most dress, so you put it on and it looks like a sack, and then you magically tie the sash and it just turns into this kind of Hollywood glamour, really comfortable dress with pockets. And I came out of the change room and I was like, I love it. I don't know. Again, such a dickhead. I don't know if we're going to sell any of these because it doesn't look like it looks on the hanger, and when you put it on, it looks like choir robes or a sack. I was like, I just don't know if people are going to be able to get over that, and we'll have to, really walk everybody through it, and I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I was like, but I love it. It's so 1940s. It's so kind of Hollywood glamour. So could we just try 3 of them? And I love it so much. Please can we call it the Claudia dress? Because it'll come and go. I'll have one. That's fine. Yeah, it's now our best-selling dress. And I look really egotistical because I'm like, yes, it's named after me. It's really changed the shop, and that's amazing.
What I love about it as well is, I guess, it's kind of quite freeing, isn't it, with the Claudia dress, because it's kind of size free.
Yes.
So it's not like, I have to go up to size whatever, or oh my gosh, kind of takes away those boundaries in like, so you can just go try it on and be like, this dress that fits everybody fits me.
Yes.
So that's like a really unique concept, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
In terms of stress-free purchasing.
And also buying it and knowing that you can put on weight or you can lose weight and it's still going to fit you.
Eat Christmas dinner.
Yes, you can like be hormonal and bloated. You can. We've had people who've worn them through pregnancy. Somebody I know wore one. Actually, a few people have worn them to maternity shoots. Like 9 months pregnant, just looking so gorgeous. So yeah, it is a different thing. And people come in, and sometimes you can see people in there looking a bit embarrassed or a bit uncertain, and they're like, that dress in the window is really beautiful, like what size is that? And I go, it's one size, and they go, oh, and I'm like, no, like it's properly one size. Obviously not for everybody, but it's kind of probably a 6 to 8 through to a 24. It's a pretty big bracket, and people have gone, well, I'll just give it a go, and they come out of the changing rooms and you can see their eyes are like, wow, it really is. And that's such a lovely feeling. It's such an amazing experience to be able to share with people. It makes me very happy.
Good.
Yay.
It should. Something to be really proud of.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you about your t-shirts.
Yes.
So, and that was in response, you were saying earlier that sometimes online can be a bit, I can't remember the word you used, but it was a good one. But anyway, abrasive maybe is what you used. And it was on response to an online comment. Is that right? Have I got the story right? Are you okay to tell us that story and about why you launched the t-shirt?
So yeah, we do a lot of content for online, and so we started out, I think actually I had a MySpace page. This is too much context, but I've started, so I'm going to carry on. Then we moved on to Facebook, and then moved on to, that still is running, and then we have Instagram, and that's great. But there's always something new, and I've tried a couple of other new things, and everybody was talking about TikTok. I'm nearly 43, like, this is not for me, is what I kept telling myself. But turns out it can be quite fun. So now we are on TikTok too, and that slightly changes the contents, I think, because of you see things other people are doing, and you just think, screw it, I'll give it a go. I was going to say within my comfort level, but that's not true, actually. Filming myself was something that I really, really didn't want to do, but it became necessary, so here I am. Anyway, I posted a video on there, and one of the comments was, I'm sure you know that this middle-aged attention-seeking is repulsive. Oh. And I read it, and I laughed, and I put the phone down. But it stuck with me, and there have been times where that would have really hurt. Also, middle-aged, how dare you? How do you know?
We have this discussion, don't we?
I mean, I am, and I'm delighted, and I wouldn't change it, and I'm very grateful to be here and all the accumulated wisdom, but I look very youthful. Fuck you. And I was just like, repulsive is such a strong word. And it was kind of posed in this question of like, I'm sure you already know this, which just was so audacious. And I was just like, and it obviously, of course, unfortunately, it was a man. And we've all grown up all our lives being told that we are too fat, too thin, like your skin's bad, your hair's frizzy, like you need to shave your legs, you need to do all of these things to be appealing to men. And I think also because of the shop's kind of vintage look, we get comments quite often saying like, oh, women should always dress like this now, like we need to go back to those times. And I'm like, no. There's a movement online which is vintage style, not vintage values, and that is something that we definitely aspire to. And so people kind of think that maybe we are a bit more kind of meek or a bit more submissive, the right word? I don't know, and that they can make those comments, and absolutely not. So I had this quite strong reaction to it, and this particular comment didn't hurt, but I was aware that on a different day, in a different mindset, different phase of my hormone cycle, that could have really upset me. And I just was like, no, I'm not having it. So I posted a video in response, but that didn't feel like quite enough. And so I decided to make a t-shirt with the word repulsive on, and to sell that to people, to all of us who have all been called repulsive or something similar, and to then also donate 10% to charity, Women's Refuge and Women's Aid. I think we're splitting them between the two, because we've done 2 runs of them now. The first run sold out straight away, which was just incredible. And I put this video up about it, and the comments were so wonderful. People were so supportive, so encouraging, and sharing all the times that they had also been told or felt repulsive. And so it was really amazing, and it was kind of a bit of a spur of the moment thing, but I'm really proud of it.
And taking something that is thoughtless, and negative, and someone wouldn't have thought would be hurtful, they feel that they can do that, especially online. And turning it into something so positive is brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, I think online is kind of wild for that. I mean, I have had people come up to me and say horrible things to my face. I remember when I was younger, I was in a hardware store, and the lady behind the till told me that I'd be quite pretty if I didn't have all the piercings in my face, which I did at the time. And I just remember standing there being like, I don't know why you think that's okay to say to me. And I actually wasn't really interested in being pretty at that time anyway. So that's like a whole other thing. But online, people can really go for it.
They're braver.
They're so much braver. And it's like a bit of a throwaway thing. And I'm not really here for it. And being kind and lifting each other up and encouraging people is such a big part of my life, actually, and my business. And I just think that it's free. It's not hard. Don't be a dick.
And it's more fun also than those t-shirts with a rainbow on that say "Be kind."
No.
I've never bought one of those.
No.
But like, I just think if you're not really a rainbow kind of girl, then a rose and what's it? Revolting or repulsive?
Repulsive.
Revolting's Matilda.
So I'm probably getting into trouble for that. But repulsive is a good word. Like, it's quite strong. I like it. I was like, actually.
And a talking point as well, I imagine, to kind of provoke. Sometimes it's important to be provocative.
Yes.
Especially in art, it's important to be provocative, and designing and creativity with what you do. A response to a situation with something provocative is really positive, I think, and anything that gets a conversation going like that is really important. So, like, how do you find the online space in terms of like being creative, being a business owner? When we talk to creative people and people who are also trying to make that creativity work for them in terms of a job and earnings, you now have to be a content creator if you want to kind of get some traction or get attention, or as kind of advertising. We spend a bit of time on social media in terms of our accounts, but like, it's overwhelming sometimes. How do you handle that? Like, just in terms of practicality and also just brain space, because your social media presence is great. And obviously that's how you are promoting your brand a lot. And you said you're on TikTok now.
It's actually quite fun. And it's also really good for editing videos. So you can edit in that and then put them everywhere.
How do you keep it from taking over everything else that you're doing? And I just think it'd be really interesting to talk to someone who's using social media successfully with their brand.
I'm really, really lucky in that I work with Scarlett, who is younger than me. So she has a slightly different view on social media. She's grown up with it, whereas I remember a time before social media back in the olden days, or the 1900s, as my son likes to call my youth.
Yeah. I've had the same comment.
Savage. And she is incredible. She has so Scarlett has her own social media presence. She is a pin-up model and public figure, I guess. She is
influencer.
Yes, she doesn't like influencer.
Oh, she doesn't. Well, she influences me.
Yes, she is influential, but I think influencer has a bit of a.
Is that like dated now? Do we not call it that?
I don't know. I'm old. I think for her, it's because it has connotations of people kind of taking the piss a bit, or influencing for the sake of influencing rather than actually having a point of view. Whereas I think that she definitely has a point of view and is very successful with it. And she was the person who was like, we need to do TikTok. And I put it off for ages, and then I caved, and it was really good. And I was like, kids these days. We're really lucky because she does a lot of work on that, and we film a lot of things in the shop. We are a small shop in Frome, so we do have quieter times when we can do that, or we work at home, or so all over the place. And so we try and fit it into our work day as much as possible. We schedule a lot, which I think helps, but it is also quite a reactive
By
place.
schedule, just imagine that no one knows anything about social media.
Okay.
Us. Do you mean you kind of schedule your posts to come out at certain times, or are you scheduling time in to do it?
Definitely the first. So we film things, and then on Instagram now you can schedule so that it auto posts for you. On TikTok we have to remember to go in and actually do it. We have things saved in drafts. We definitely do not schedule time to do it. We are not that organised.
Okay.
Scarlett probably is more so than I am. I'm much more kind of chaotic and reactive to things. So that's amazing because you can kind of know that you've got things covered, but because it's more of a community thing rather than a posting into the void and hoping for the best, you do also need to keep an eye on it, and it can feel a bit 24/7. It can feel a bit overwhelming because time. But the repulsive comment I think came through. I just got out of I had a bath that evening, and it was about 9 o'clock at night, and I opened my phone and was like, and then filmed a reply video with my face all like red and blotchy, where I was all like steamed in my pajamas, like don't care, this is too important, I'm too incensed.
It's good to have a balance planned, like polished,
and
then blotchy bath responses in terms of just like authentic. I reckon it's probably a good idea to have the balance.
I think so. I think this is something I love about both of you actually, is that you do feel really authentic. You like to have a laugh. You're not afraid to poke fun at yourselves, and as well as, being super talented, but you just feel really real. And that's something that I think we want to try and have as well, is, not that anybody's getting me confused with like a real model or anything. And that's something that we want to do as well. And because the style is kind of old Hollywood glamour or femme fatales, that is quite a kind of cold, kind of separate thing. That's not us at all. Like Scarlett and I are both really goofy. Somebody called me adorkable once, and I was like, that is what I want to be. That's who I am. And like, I did grow up really awkward. I grew up shy. I spent a long time not feeling good about my body or feeling confident. People often think I'm more confident than I actually am, and I'm not the same shy little girl that I was, but she's definitely still in there cringing quite hard right now. So it's nice for people to see that, I think.
Do you think there's a difference between, or the balance between, kind of, I might not explain this very well, so I might have to ask it a couple of times to get it right. Like what we were talking about, like grief yesterday, when you kind of, it gets to the point where you're like, right, I feel like shit, I do not want to get up today, and I want to wallow in this. And then sometimes that's good, and sometimes you need to, we have to, for our job, put on a dress, put on some red lipstick, get out there and like sing about happy things.
Yes, there's a massive element of trying to find that balance, and I'm lucky because I'm not in the shop all the time. I think I would really struggle with that. And how I show up on the school run most days, it's really funny. If I have been in the shop and I do the school pickup, everybody's like, oh, you look so nice. I'm like, thanks, I've been at work. rather than working at home in my pajamas, which is how I usually roll. And I love having that kind of duality and being able to be both. But there have definitely been really hard days where I've had to be in the shop and actually, yes, putting on the dress and having to be somebody else for those few hours is actually quite important, I think. As long as you've got enough of the other stuff, as long as you've got enough of the crying into your ice cream kind of balance.
Yes. So going forward, like as much as you're willing to share, what do you see happening for you in, like, not in your personal life, but, unless you want to share, but definitely with your creativity in your business? Have you got any big goals? What would be like the ultimate dream?
The ultimate dream is to be able to produce more clothes. Alexandra hand sews all of her collection. Anna hand sews all of my collection, which is amazing, and I love that. And I love that it's all Somerset based. So the dream would be to be able to do more of that and to sell more of it, to kind of have a bigger presence, because I do think that what we have is different, and I think it is special, and I think it's something that a lot of people would like to have in their lives in some way. So it's just about trying to keep pushing us out there, keep getting outside my comfort zone, and doing podcasts or,
you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I was like, what have I done? This is actually my worst nightmare, but you made it so lovely and so fun.
Have you not done a podcast? No one's ever. Why has no one asked you these things before?
Because
I find it fascinating, and I think you're such an interesting brand. Like, we were a bit like, should we ask if they maybe Claudia, and I was like, just send a message. Just send a message.
She can only say no.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were like.
Which I think I did. I think I literally typed out thanks but no thanks.
Thanks but no.
And then I was like,
now we know that's your response to most.
Yeah, it is. I am quite cautious. I am quite like, but then I also opened the shop on a whim. So like, who knows what goes on in my brain? I think I don't know.
And that's so lovely to have that trust.
Yes.
Turning up somewhere new, knowing, and when you get that feeling and you can trust your gut like that is amazing, just to be able to harness.
Yes.
And I mean, the whole point of our podcast is just doing it anyway, getting over that fear. But when you know and it's in your cells, you're going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. And then it just goes from one thing to another.
Yeah. And I have such an amazing support network of people who encourage me, and that's people in my immediate life as well as online. We have some incredible customers who are now friends, and and hopefully that all goes all the way around. Everybody's just cheering each other on. We have parties at the shop, any excuse actually, let's be honest, and everybody comes and plays dress up, and everybody in like a really natural way kind of just hangs around outside the changing room, and when people come out, everybody just is so encouraging. And actually that happens even on normal days, and people in the shop will comment more than I've ever heard in any other shop. When people come out of the changing rooms, they're like, oh, so sorry, just wanted to say you look amazing in that. And like, that's so gorgeous. And just more of that in life in general has got to be a good thing.
Yeah, so if you could go back, last question.
Okay.
Then you can have a drink of water. You go back.
Yeah.
And give yourself a piece of advice to 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Looking at that empty shop, knowing everything that's about to come.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself?
Get married less?
I would tell myself that.
What would I tell myself? I think, it's so cheesy. Oh, gross. Sorry. Just to believe in yourself more. And also, fuck it. That's what I would say. Fuck it. Like, just go for it. I mean, be sensible, be safe, do your safety checks. But if it's not gonna, cause anybody any harm, just give it a go. And some movement is better than no movement, so just little baby steps, bite-sized pieces, whatever it is you need. But and like you said, trust yourself, because you've got this, even if you don't feel like you know what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you
And letting
so
us into your
much.
homes,
Yay.
basically relative strangers.
And we'll be back to the shop soon.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
Come play dress up.
Well, we've got new dresses for the cabaret.
Yes, we did just buy 2 Claudia dresses, didn't
the
we?
sparkly one.
We got so many matching deadly outfits. Really, haven't
It's
we?
so cute. I love it.
We hope that you found it as fascinating as we did to talk to Claudia, especially about managing communities online and all the fabulous things that come out of that, but also, you know, ways to handle the trolls out there.
And we have loved learning and understanding a little bit more about the background of Deadly as a female. So definitely, if you're in the area, go and visit them and see their beautiful clothing and designs in there.
Yeah, or look them up online at Deadly as the Female. But meanwhile, if as you look towards 2025, you have an idea, you have something you're really wanting to give a go, just think, fuck it, why not? And just do it anyway.
I really need to burp.
You can burp. That's fine.
Gone. I think it's like a nerves thing. I have to do all the things that make loads of noise.
Yeah.
I know I
We
shouldn't.
can just say there's very squeaky chairs, so if you burp,
Okay, cool, yeah.
it's
Just
fine.
burp in a
Just,
squeaky
little
way.
squeak.
I'm
Yeah.
talking a lot, is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the
good.
point.
Yay! I can't remember either.
Oh.
Could be the name of the episode.
Repulsive.
Repulsive.
Or Don't Be a Dick.
Yeah. Haven't we already tried Don't Be a Dick?
Don't be a dickhead.
Anyway, we'll just pretend you've got like emotional and crying. Tears out, Claudia.
Oh my goodness. What was I saying? Yeah, I
You're
just...
saying how fabulous we are.
Yes, I was saying you guys.
Please continue.